Hi, I'm Michael Ross with Oilbex. Thank you for joining today's information session on gaining greater visibility and lower costs with OpenInvoice. I'm joined today by Gavin Jones, our product manager for OpenInvoice Spend Management. Welcome, Gavin.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, everyone. Let's start by giving you a little bit of my background. I've been a member of the OpenInvoice team for 15 years now. My history with this product began on the technology side, first as a developer and then as its architect. I've since been part of the product management team and put much of my focus and energy into bridging the value conversation from customer to our development teams. These days, as Michael said, I'm the product manager for the spend management module of OpenInvoice, which consists of components that help supply chain departments leverage their purchase orders and pricing agreements within OpenInvoice to achieve their goals of cost savings and spend compliance. Today, I'd like to talk to you specifically about how you can use OpenInvoice price books to drive greater spend visibility and lower costs. In an industry like oil and gas, supply chain management departments are often charged with helping operations manage risk and bring greater value for every dollar spent. In simplistic terms, they want to make sure that spend is within established guidelines and honoring agreements. Managing spend doesn't necessarily mean tight and rigid controls, as too much control and process can end up hurting you by increasing costs in other ways. In a dynamic industry like this one, the immediate needs of operations can easily outpace supply chain's ability to keep up with the situation on the ground. And when we say every dollar counts, the value out has to be greater than the energy going in, often a lot greater. So to do this, it needs to be easy to reconcile and match documents and measure compliance from the moment work is called out to when payment is approved. And the more energy it takes to match and reconcile your transactions, the more challenging the proposition becomes. Relying on post-payment audits for this drives up costs even further. And as they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And the challenges don't stop there, as the more frequently the conditions of the market change, the more frequently the agreements that govern your spend change also. And the more often these agreements change, the more frequently information needs to be updated, not just in your organization, but across your supplier's organization as well. The energy that takes aside, relying on paper in multiple systems increases the likelihood that something slips through the cracks. Let's take a closer look at an example of how that information, when represented in different ways, leads to higher costs. In a supplier organization, we have sales, field services, and billing, who all manage the same information in different ways. What's being provided, how it's described on a contract, how it appears on a receipt, and how it's billed for on an invoice can all be different. And in the buyer organization, supply chain, operations, and accounts payable are all receiving that information from their complement sources in the form it was provided. So this is a question of communication. And with people being people, paper being paper, how that information looks today can easily be different than how it looks 6 months from now. For example, the supplier sales team and supply chain have agreed on pricing for a 4th-year apprentice carpenter. The work is performed, and the field services provides a receipt to operations, but nowhere do you see the word apprentice. Is it the same thing? Maybe, but we do know it's Jim. Finally, accounts payable receives an invoice with a single line item saying environmental services. What kind of services are those, and at what unit cost? We don't really know. It could be 6 hours at $70 or 7 hours at $60, or maybe it was 4 hours at $105 an hour. All of these differences require brain power, energy, time, money to reconcile, if it's even possible. So wouldn't it be easier if everyone in your business and those with whom you do business spoke consistently using the same vocabulary and wanted their work to align seamlessly with the work of others? So this is where OpenInvoice can help. What we want to do first is to establish a shared terminology and a standardized lexicon. To do this, OpenInvoice Pricebook lets supply chain lead this entire process by ensuring that the supplier's catalog matches that of the sales agreement provided. Receipts and invoice then use those price books to naturally align with the items in the price book using that consistent language. And now that this terminology aligns, not just visual reconciliation, but digital reconciliation becomes easy and compliance can be enforced automatically. We also want to help supply chain keep pace with changes in agreements. By connecting OpenInvoice with your contract management system, you can streamline this process to save valuable time. In our most recent release, we provided a simple way for you to connect the two systems. This allows teams to work in the system of their choice and the other system being kept in sync automatically. So once you have your agreements in place, go digital with OpenInvoice to streamline your processes, collaborate with your suppliers, gain greater visibility, and lower your costs.
Thank you, Gavin. For more information on OilDecks and to schedule a demo of OpenInvoice, please contact us by email at info@oildecks.com. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter to stay up to date on all things OilDecks. On behalf of Gavin, myself, and the rest of the OilDecks team, thank you for watching.